Good morning, everybody. I am coming on here today. My name is Jo Dall, and it is my huge honour and privilege to be able to share with you the wisdom of my dear colleague and friend, Amanda Brooks. Welcome, Amanda.
Hello, Jo. Thank you so much for this.
That's my pleasure. Sometimes, as practitioners and therapists, we do the most incredible work for people, but when it comes to sharing what we do, we get a little bit shy. And so I thought it would be a really brilliant thing to do today to interview Amanda and allow her to share the incredible work that she does with her clients. So let me just share a little bit about her first of all. So Amanda Brooks has been practicing now as a practitioner for 32 years, which is incredible. And I know that during that 32 years you have explored and learnt so much over that time. I mean, it's the only way I can describe it, and most therapists and practitioners will relate to this, is once you get the bug, once you start to learn, it is a never-ending journey of wanting more wisdom as to how to help other people. And I've had the privilege of knowing Amanda for 21 years. And in that time, we have worked alongside each other. We are great friends and we've had a lot of laughs, haven't we?
We have.
So Amanda's purpose, I asked her that question earlier, is to dissolve outdated beliefs so that people can feel fully seen and fully heard, so that they can truly step into their own alignment and their own power. And I think that that is such a gift to want to offer that to other people, because so often as an individual we don't realize what we need, and so to be able to work alongside somebody who has that as their intention is such a gift to them. So thank you for the work that you do. So today we are going to explore some work that Amanda does for her clients, and this is a method called the paradigm shift. And so most people, including myself, when we say the paradigm shift, go, not sure what that is or what it means or how it works. So that's what we're going to explore right now. So for those who haven't come across the paradigm shift, can you please give us a brief overview of what that means?
Yes, so I must admit, when I came across it, same as yourself, thinking, oh, what does that actually mean? And then when I experienced it, I thought, wow, because it's a deep one-on-one program where you are identifying emotional blocks, belief systems, but not by going into the stories of what's happening for the person, but by doing certain quantum questions which get the subconscious mind, as we're sort of, you're speaking, I'm writing down all the things that tumble from a question. And the tumble might feel like, oh, I think I've already said that. But each time you say something, you go that little bit deeper down into what's holding everything together. And in the paradigm shift, what you're doing is you are rewiring the subconscious by doing specific things in a certain way. It's all intuitively led. That's the other thing I love about it. I've got the structure there, but it's intuitive when it comes down to, what does that mean to you? Where does that sort of take us? And it sounds like it's very complicated, but it just flows so easily. But it's an intense 4 hour session. And for some people, that is just too much, and it really isn't the pathway for them. But when you do it that way, when you really hone in and you work at that level, it allows all the old structures and patterns to just almost fall away so that you get that paradigm shift. It's almost like you've gone up another timeline and yet you've not moved. but you feel different. Your brain thinks differently.
Yeah.
And, it's quick, even though that sounds like a long time, but it's quick when you consider some people could spend a year working on one belief system. Um, but it's intense. And
Yeah.
it is intense. And, people often go like, I feel like myself again, or God, I didn't know I could think like that. So yeah, but it's really powerful. But it's also working on ancestral patterns as well and soul patterns. So I get very excited about it.
Yeah, I can hear that. I really can. So when you trained in it, what was it that it actually inspired you to think, this is something that can really, really shift in others? What was your experience of it, if I can ask that?
Yeah, so for me, I was searching. I'm always looking, as you said earlier, on that constant search for how can I do what I do in a quicker, cleaner way that is more easy for the clients. And at that particular point in time, I was going through something quite big, and I was having like a free 45 minutes with the tutor of a class, and she just did a couple of the pieces on it. And it was like suddenly I was like, oh, actually, I do have other options. I do have a different way of looking at this. And I just thought, wow, if that's what I can get from a free call, what am I going to get when I get into the program? And so during the program, again, the one of the other students, because you have to swap, you have to practice, you have to feel it. And I just noticed that I shifted in certain areas that I had already spent a number of decades, I'm going to say. Now, it doesn't mean that those decades before were wasted, because they were not. They brought me to where I am now. But it was like it was that being on steroids almost. It was like that massive shift and jump.
Yeah,
And I just thought, this is great.
yeah, amazing. So let's talk about healing. So we know in the work that you do and I do and so many other people do, we do healing work. But what is it that somebody can expect from the paradigm shift sessions?
So, what I've noticed, and from the people that I've been working on, and from other people that have gone through it with other practitioners, is this greater sense of peace and clarity. It's almost being able, because I give tools that you can use to sort of like problem solve a little bit outside of the session, so that you literally got that way of moving forward. Because I never ever want anyone to rely on me and my work. I want to be able to be that instigator where they go, oh, yeah, you know what, I can actually do this piece myself. And so it helps you and it helps me, because you then take action. You feel more responsible for yourself, rather than feeling that you're broken, that someone else needs to fix you. And what I've noticed within the clients is that they suddenly have like these inspiration, these other ideas of how to actually do something
Yeah,
that they'd never thought of before. But the knowledge was always there. So the way I see the paradigm shift is it opens up those pathways that were always there, but they were kind of blocked by our beliefs
yeah,
and the things that we've gone through. So it is subtle. It is subtle for some people, and but it's incredibly profound. And what I've noticed, which is very strange, is that you work with that person, but then their extended family start to change, and you've not worked on them. And I just find that quite fascinating that that occurs. So I think that must be that it's in that ancestral energetic field, and them releasing something has released the other members of their family unknowingly. And that's what I mean about it being profound.
yeah.
So yeah, but it's also, yeah, about taking that action.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we both talk about this often, don't we? So many people in this day and age want to be fixed. They want the easy option. They want somebody to make them better. But actually, it's about reflecting on one's self and what needs to heal within. And that's when the true profound healing really, really takes place, doesn't
Yeah.
it? So, can I ask you another question, which is just to help the listeners to understand a little bit more? So, how does this differ from traditional treatments or maybe coaching or counseling? How does it differ?
So even though I do mention that I'm asking questions and you're answering, they're specific questions that are designed to get the brain thinking in a certain way. So it isn't about reliving the story. In fact, if somebody starts to go into the story, I'll go, we don't need the story. Just take that step back. We want to see everything else that's around it. So there's no need to relive the trauma or the story. And I often, and I've said this for decades to people, if talking about it was going to make it better, you wouldn't be seeing me right now. And that's why I love this, because I don't believe going into the story in certain circumstances. For certain pieces, that's what they need. And then this is not the path for them. But what happens within it is that you are doing the quantum questioning, you're questioning it in ways that gets the brain to think differently. So you're rewiring the conscious and subconscious at that point. So the person is making those connections very quickly. So it actually, yes, you've got that 4 hour kind of intense session, but what you've got from that is that ability to shift and change. And if you think most people will sit and they will maybe watch TV for 4 hours.
Mm.
So it's just using 4 hours to shift our thought patterns.
Yeah.
But it's not about brainwashing. It's about literally the person making the connections and then us clearing what has gone on in their family lifetime that may have been contributing to the pattern that's held them so tight.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, and it's very intuitive. So it's not, again, it's not like I'm going to do this, and this. I will have that structure of, yeah, we're going to cover these areas, but I don't know how we're going to cover them because it depends on what that comes up for that person.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And what I'm hearing, and let me just clarify this, and you can say whether it's right or wrong. So often, the way that I kind of see it when you were speaking is so often we go through the front door of the house, go through the front door, so we know what to expect. We know that everything's there. We know what we're going to see when we walk through the front door. But what I'm getting a sense of is it's like you take them round to the back door, and when they open the door, they don't quite know where they are. And so that gives them a new perception, a new way of looking at things that then allows that clarity to come into play. Is that would that fit?
That is a beautiful analogy, and I'll be using it from now on.
Oh, okay. I'll let you. But it feels like so often we are so familiar with the familiar. That sounds really silly, but I know what I mean. That it feels safe.
Yeah,
But the familiar is not necessarily real. And
that's
now I'm going to ask you another, just a short, quick question, if you can. When we talk about stories, you've mentioned it, and a lot of the listeners may not understand what you're meaning. So when you talk about stories, can you just explain a little bit about what that means, please?
yeah, of course. Because I use it so often, I tend not to realize. So with stories, what happens is if we keep, so say for instance, you said to me, so Amanda, what's happened? Why are you here? Why are you wanting to work with me right now? And I start going on about this person did me wrong, that person, were horrible to me. I didn't like this, and I should have said this, and I should have said that. And we might have spent a whole half an hour on really the story, where all I could have then said to you is, I have this pattern of rejection and betrayal no matter what I do.
Yeah.
But the story is the thing that traps us down. So we then energetically go down and down and down. And then we feel like we want to cry so that we're really in the story.
Yeah.
And whereas that can be good in certain circumstances, in the work that I do, it's the story that's holding you prisoner.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's just helpful for the listeners to understand that, because when we live our lives, we don't realize that we're doing it, do we? It's a very subconscious thing. But just to have that explained as to what that is and how it can keep us trapped in it, I think would be really helpful for people's awareness to understand how they can now step out of it with the work that you do. So, what actually happens in a session? What can somebody expect if they come for the paradigm shift with you?
Okay, so basically we have me, it's me, not we, but I break it down. So we would have like an hour preparation session, and that's where we start the work. And just from that prep session, there can be changes, massive changes. And it's where I'm getting us to look at how do you do the problem? How do you be that person in that problem? What is it that it is giving you, and what is it not giving you? So we do that in that prep session. And then about 3 or 4 days later, we do the 4 hour session.
Yeah.
So then we are really looking in and we are doing timeline jumps forward, backwards. We are looking at where the root cause is, whether it was ancestral, whether it's another lifetime, whether people believe in other lifetimes or not, it's what our ancestors also believed in that can be affecting us. And then through that, we are starting to change patterns and then activating new types of behavior. Also, from that, what I do is I make an activation MP3 for somebody to listen to daily afterwards. It's only about 4, maybe 5 minutes long maximum. But what that does is it puts you into that new paradigm in a way that you feel supported, so that you're not like gonna fall back into the old patterns, that you just sort of like are able to just be in that new space. And then usually about a week after, we just do sort of like a quick catch up, see how everybody's doing, make sure things are going as they need to, and maybe do a little bit of tidying up if it is needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds amazing. And what ripple effects, what wow moments have you had from working with clients with this work?
Well, so I had somebody who said that they slept for the first time for 6 hours through the night, which they hadn't ever done. That was amazing. Someone who was very, very low in energy when they were younger, and even though they weren't in that low energy, they were always cagey about what they felt they could do. So they were holding themselves back. They went out running the next day. They were having meals with friends. They were just like really enjoying life so much more. Um, I've had people where that they're wanting to find their purpose, that move forward, that next step for them, and then realizing, well, actually, their life was so full already that their purpose was different than what their dreams were. So their dreams was to be one way, but their purpose, when we came down to it, was actually what they'd already kind of got. And that was an interesting one. But for all of them, what I've noticed, which has been the most strangest thing, is everybody wants to eat differently afterwards. They want to prepare meals in a way they've never prepared. They want to like nurture themselves in a way they never have before. I find that such a beautiful side effect. It's not happened with everybody. It didn't happen when I did for mine, but it literally it's just been so different, and people making better choices for themselves about what it is that they wanted to do next in that moment.
Yeah.
So I think that was the other thing. Everyone seemed to come into the moment rather than, oh, in a week's time, I'd love to be doing such and such. They were like, oh, actually, right now, this is what I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So, what would you say to somebody who's stuck and frustrated, and despite doing all of the work that they have done and honoring that, because we are all on a journey, but is this method for them?
It's not for everybody. It really isn't. But I would say just know you're not broken. There isn't something wrong with you. because we can feel like that if we have been trying to work on something for a long, long time and nothing is shifting it, no matter how much we pay out, how much we work on it, we then start to think that there's something wrong with us. And that is when this method is really, really good, because it is getting more down into that root causes and those shifts that are required. Because when you start to clear those pieces, then everything else that you've previously done falls into space. And then you think to yourself, oh, well, it was that one thing that fixed it. But it isn't. It's just sometimes you need something that actually glues everything else together so that you've got that shift forward.
Yeah, amazing. So, just to share with everybody, I had the huge honour of doing the paradigm shift with Amanda, and I was in that place of, yeah, doing loads of work. We've all done loads of work. When you are in a practitioner therapist position, we have to walk the walk, we have to lead from the front. There's no point in us helping you if we haven't helped ourselves first. But there was something, and I spoke to Amanda about it. I couldn't put my finger on it, but there was something that had come to the service to be healed, and we worked together on the paradigm shift. And I don't know, I can't put my finger on, I can't name what shifted, but it's like I became me. I became who I am, not who I have been. And I believe, and this isn't for everybody by any means, but I believe that on my soul's journey, I have had a lot of experiences that have been very similar, which made me then come to this lifetime where I am what I am. And it was hard, it was big. Um, but there's a certain lightness now that I can sense and a freedom that I can sense. And the thing that I haven't shared with Amanda, which I wanted to say for today, is I've started wearing dresses. I never wear dresses. I've got dresses, but I never wear them. Or I might wear them once and then, for a high day or a holiday. I've started wearing dresses. So that for me means that I am acknowledging who I am rather than hiding who I am, perhaps in trousers and a big shirt. So I just wanted to share that with you and with the listeners because, it's a subtle change, but to me it's profound that I am somehow getting in touch with my feminine self and wanting to wear dresses. There you go, Amanda Brooks. Thank you very much.
And I have to say, because 21 years of knowing you, I've never seen you in a dress.
Really weird, very strange. So, for anybody who is curious about the paradigm shift, who is getting a little tingle in their tummy or a little kind of bubbly, prickly feeling on their skin, or just has a calling that this might be for them, what's the next step for them, please?
I would suggest, because I do a half-hour discovery call, which is completely free, that people would just sign up on that. And then we can see if this is the right fit for you. Because it's only by us speaking with each other that we can see, do we want to work with each other? Because I might not be the right person for you, or what you're going through might not be the right thing for this modality.
Yeah.
And so that gives us the ability to do that. And there will be a link right below the video for that. So that would be the way that I would go forward. But yeah, for me, these are a deep calling. So the people that I've worked with, they just knew
Yeah.
that it felt right.
Yeah.
It felt the right thing. So yeah,
Oh, well, thank you for speaking with me today and for sharing more information about the paradigm shift, this profound journey that you can go on to heal at a different level, a more powerful, profound level than ever before. And if this is your calling, then please do get in touch with Amanda, and I'm sure that she will help you as much as she can to be aligned with who you truly are. Thank you, Amanda.
thank you, my lovely.